more about this being Enki, Enlil, and Marduk. Okay, so this is how they look like because I've seen these beings there on the garden. The camera have captured them. So this is your true gods, and not some blue-eyed, blonde men or any other humans. That's rubbish. The people who say there's some kind of moron. Many people who are familiar with the Anunnaki had been led to believe that Enki is the good guy and Enlil is the bad guy, based on the myth. Sometimes I guess that they are the same being play tricks. One of the main reasons for this comes from the story of the Great Flood, where Enki was the god who warned Noah of an impending deluge, and therefore became regarded as the savior of the human race, while Enlil and the other gods became villainized for wanting to wipe us out. Not us, you, not me. On the surface, one can understand why this would make sense. When looking deeper into it, however, it becomes quite apparent that Enki's motivation for having his creation had more to do with his own personal agenda or his own self-interest than his empathy toward us, because there's other people who was not even affected in other part of the world or continents. Likewise, Enlil wanted to end the human experiment, not because he hated us, but because he wanted to free us from bondage and allow us the opportunity to return back home to the high spiritual realms. When you look at it from that perspective, the whole roles of hero and villain become reversed. Now, it could be many reasons. Either they had a feud or anger toward one another if they are really separated being, or this is all a scheme, a force, to fool the people here. Otherwise, if it is true, then they had a feud and one was jealous of another, and they wanted at all cost destroy one another, or whatever project they were involved in. Enki and Enlil counterbalance each other. Enki is lord of the earth, while Enlil is lord of the air wind. But what about the Babylonian god Marduk? In the Enumelish, a female dragon-like monster known as Tiamat, female dragon monster from Orion. She is not, and she could also as well be Sophia here. She's not a blonde woman, not a human at all, as they are saying in other chronicles or other fake stories made up somewhere by Anakins. So becomes a disruptive and chaotic force for the goddess. After many of his contemporaries failed to slay the beast, Marduk emerges as the hero who establishes himself as king of the gods by hatching a successful plan to defeat his rival. He does this by encapsulating her in a net, and he uses the power of the winds to help aid in his conquest. Perhaps this is where the word planet derives from, as this person wrote in his book. Tiamat was originally a planet that existed between Jupiter and Mars, and was subsequently destroyed during the war in heaven, becoming what we know today as the asteroid belt. Following Marduk's victory over Tiamat, he uses her dead body, to form the heavens, thus creating hybrids, the heavens and the earth. He creates humans as a slave race for the gods and establishes order in the universe, which is why order out of chaos is the motto, the motto of the Freemasons. Enki was originally known as the one who had dominion over earth and who created humanity as an inferior race. But these attributes became assimilated into Marduk. This is why I say Marduk is really Enki's outer ego. Yeah, maybe it's an extension of his outer ego personality. He disassociates himself, and then he uses this personality like many of his seedlings here on earth. This is called narcissist or psychopath. They kind of create an extension of themselves, or different personalities, or multiple personalities. So you'll never see these people in one aspect, or of having one face in one day. They change faces every single day. They are not just bipolar, they are multiple polar. So this is a dissociative personality. And they kind of blame his other side through himself. Even through himself, is he himself, but he blame another parties. This means what? That he is seeing himself through his other part that he creates in his mind to be disassociated from him. Like, okay, today they come with a kind of attitude, they do certain actions which is not good. And then tomorrow, if nobody knows this person, he comes as another person, he do a good deed, and then he points the finger to his own self that he have done yesterday some stupid trash actions, and then he judges himself. Do you understand what I mean? This is how they act. But if this is true, then how did Enlil also become secretized with Marduk? Enlil was a stormy god who was associated with the planet Jupiter. It's the planet of money and success, and was therefore associated with the likes of Zeus and Thor. With Marduk's rise as the supreme god of Babylon, however, he eventually supplanted Enlil and assumed his role as a head of the pantheon by taking on his characteristics. So, if Marduk is Enki's son outer ego, what was the purpose of having Enlil replaced? The answer becomes obvious when you read in the Gnostic texts. Enlil is known as Sabaoth in Gnosticism, meaning Lord of Armies. In this person's book, he wrote about how Enlil is associated with both Ninurta and Orion, which has to do with the queen there in Orion. Maybe Enlil is married with one of her daughters. If you look at the constellation Orion, you see the image of a man holding a sword and shield, which represents the warrior aspect of Enlil. Sabaoth, Enlil, was an emanation of Yaldabaoth. Emanation, this means an image of Yaldabaoth, Enki. It was known as his son. Now, come in my mind, could it not be Jesus also the Son and the Father? Could not Enlil be Jesus here? Yahweh, Jesus, and then Yaldabaoth is the Father, Enki, Lucifer. However, he condemns his father when he realizes what an abomination he is, and repents when he hears the voice of his mother Sophia. But in the other studies or chronicles, they will say that they are brothers rather than siblings, or rather than father and son. They are siblings. So who to believe? I still believe they are brother rather than son and father. He is then elevated to the seventh heaven, which is Satan, the highest realm in the Kenuma. There he thought about everything that exists in the eighth heaven, causing Yaldabaoth to become jealous of his son, and Kai to become jealous of Enki. But I don't think they are son, father. Sabaoth dethrones his father and is given dominion over the upper heavens, while Lucifer and Kaya Yaldabaoth is cast down to the abyss following the war in heaven. This is why in Kaya's abode is called the Abzu. Abzu is found in Africa in hell or netherworld. Yaldabaoth then takes over Sabaoth role as the ruler of the 70 heaven, Satan. Yaldabaoth then takes over Sabaoth again, the role as a rule of the 7 heavens, Satan, and therefore takes on his persona. So the Enkaya become Enlil and he pretend to be him. But actually the first commandment, perhaps one is passed by Enlil or once him, this Enkaya. I don't know, but it's more like to be Enlil Sabaoth than this Enkaya, because he's erratic. He's not quite a nice entity. He's very immoral. This is the reason why Enkaya needed to create an outer ego, Marduk, for himself to replace Enlil as the balancing force of good and evil. There's more to come in order to maintain duality on earth. So where lives Jesus? Who would be Jesus here? The Enkaya's son or Enlil's son? Who is him? Or is him Enlil? Who is him? To this day, Yaldabaoth is still but some say that Jesus is the solar serpent and he is Lucifer. He is Lucifer Enkaya himself. Some says, I don't know, but some says that he is Enkaya. Some said yesterday in that video would say that he is the son of Nebo, and the great son of Enkaya, Lucifer. Or some would say that he is Lucifer Enkaya himself. Okay? And he is the solar serpent. To this day, Yaldabaoth is still the god of this world. That's why you see the mess, especially now, since last year, that he's in full force here on the earth, and you see what's going on, and then he's gonna blame another part. Or is him, his other self, Enlil is one part of him, or is detached from him, because he's not good in the mind, you know. He's suffer from some severe mental disease. Or is his brother, his siblings, or his son, I don't know. But for me, I have the feel that his brother, alright, his older brother, or is Enlil is his older brother, or is his other part of himself. Is a personification that he creates. While Sabaoth was made heir to the throne of Orion, the 8th heaven, as a moth, the aspect of Sophia, which resides in the medicine known as the 9th heaven, Sophia here also could be Lucifer, because he also can be a Trani. He comes as a goddess or demoness. He also can pretend to be one. Okay? And then he detaches himself and creates this false image or persona. So he's waiting for humanity to wake up, and it's Enkaya who won the ascension process. It's Enkaya and his team here on earth. All those smoothing talk, he smile until the mouth come to the ear. Those people are fake, false, and there's a lot in Brazil and all over. I cannot take them, I can see through them. They are lies, because they want to represent their master here. and the awakening system, and this nonsense of ascension. You don't have the ascension nonsense. You know? You don't have to ascend. You already ascended. You cannot be what you already is, right? So this ascension nonsense is because they want to finish quickly this timeline and create a new timeline and create new species, the biomen, alright? So that's why they want to get off all this. So they say, I want everybody ascended, everybody to know the truth before I finish all this chapter of history. Do you understand? This is what's going on. So, which reside in the middle known as the Nisi Heaven, is waiting for humanity to wake up to the true divine nature so she can return in full to the pleroma. This is an event which may happen much sooner than most people realize. Or she is, Sophia could be Chiama, a former Orion queen, who was on the S here before this being scam. She was here already, so could be her as well, I'm not sure. So here we have the people who, you know, they are always trying to belong into a group. So they pretend to be pro something, when in reality most of the time they are anti. Most people here are pro Enkaya. It's at least certain people who always cry wolf. But to make part of the team, they pretend that they are anti Enkaya. I can see through all these people. So so here it says, I once have a similar realization about Enkaya being the selfish one. It was this realization that led me to your blog post XXS. I think that the Enlil was actually beneficial. Thanks. All these are, these are all falsehood, fake people. Yes, I definitely believe this is to be true. If Enkaya really is the god of this world, then it only makes us sense that he would influence our mythologies to make us believe he is the good guy and Enlil is the bad guy, when it is actually the other way around. Enlil sent the flood to end the Enkaya experiment. Or what if Enkaya is Enlil? The same entity pretend to be many. Enki experiment on Earth which has gone astray, not because he hates humans. Enki saved humanity in order to continue his experiment and keep us enslaved. He twisted everything around. This is one of the reasons why he's known as a trickster. Well, Lucifer is a trickster, right? And, if this Sabaoth Enlil really exists, I would point out certain reason for him to go against his half-brother or father project, whatever. First of all, maybe because he married a reptoid princess from Orion. Second, because he was not in good terms with his half-brothers or father, whatever. He's not good in terms, so he saw that he wanted to undo the project of maybe his mother-in-law from Orion. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why this happened. They fought. This is, if he is not lying, he's the same and only entity pretended to be something else. Okay, he's all this pretend to be something else. Wow, I was just getting my head around the alternative version of this story the past few months, and now this has flipped everything around and upside down. I already knew it a long time ago. Thank you so much for sharing this. Yeah. Okay. Hi. Do you think that Enki is the snake and the god of Eden? Then, of course, then if he isn't, so who is you? In so much that he tempted Adam and Eve Adam and Eve was his own project. So why not temper them when he was the same? He invested in them by copulating their parents. Hey, what a big deal here. So Adam and Eve away from innocency, connection with God, and the God here is nothing but the other part of Lucifer, who is Enlil, or the Creator. While many look up on the snake as the one that awoke humanity and set them free, no, he wants to perish the peoples here because they didn't know this thing of mafia and corruption, dishonesty and immorality. And thanks to your master that he knows, they know now and they fall and they are all tainted and corrupted up to the conscious spirit if they ever own one. Okay, so thanks to them that we have this mess, immorality and evil that we have today in duality. Many Gnostics believe that the serpent was crushed Sophia. The real Lucifer means everybody knows, and no one represents enlightenment and wisdom more than crushed Sophia. Hey, crushed Sophia, hey, so now Sophia now is a male, is a tranny. Crash is a tranny, a female. What are you saying? You see the mess these people make? It may be that Crash may as well be Enlil. Okay, Yahweh. But Sophia would be his mother-in-law or even his wife, who knows, from Orion. So the real Lucifer means light bearer, and no one represents enlightenment and wisdom more than Christ Sophia. Christ represented the masculine aspect of Sophia. And Kaya, Yaldabaoth, could even be the same being, Yahweh. And Kaya will be Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, would be the adversary in the scenario. Of course, Enki twisted everything around to make himself look like the one who wanted to free humanity, while his evil brother Enlil wanted us enslaved. Enki does represent knowledge and wisdom, so he considers himself to be Lucifer since he feels deserving of that title. To this day, he provides knowledge and wisdom to those who pay close enough attention through lyrics and music, TV shows, movies, etc. However, he plays both sides, Lucifer the light bearer and Satan the adversary who wants humanity to remain ignorant, and he was the one there they miss. They the one they are good. You think they love you? You're wrong. There has to be the balance of maintain the duality in this world. Every action must have a reaction. Thank you so much, Justin. One does not get a reply like that very often. I'm far from enlightened about all of this, my friend. I have a notion that if Inkaya is Yaldabaoth Yahweh, would Enlil be Yahweh, Yodin, Vachel, forgive me if that is retarded. Lol. I watched a YouTube video a while ago. The guy explained why Jesus and Lucifer are one and the same. It blew my mind. I had heard this before, but him being a minister and a very knowledgeable of the Bible explained it perfectly. The video is titled Lucifer and the Morning Star. So he's Enki, he's Yahweh, Enki, Yaldabaoth. Either way, how come you say that he's Sophia? Yaldabaoth is a composite god. Enki, Marduk, Nergal are all aspects of Yaldabaoth. Enlil is Jupiter, who is also Zeus, Yahweh, but so is Marduk. If you read the Gnostic text, you'll see that Sabaoth takes over the throne from Yaldabaoth. Sabaoth em qual Enlil and Yaldabaoth, in qual Enki, Enkaya. This has been retold through many ancient mythologies, such as Greek mythology, where Zeus usurps his father Cronus for the throne and becomes king of the gods. After Enlil, Sabaoth becomes the new king, and Kaya, Yaldabaoth, gets jealous and wages war against him and Sophia, Tiamat. This war was told to us in the Enumelish. Basically, Enkaya developed a dark aura ego when he became a jealous god. And that's when someone defies him. That's when Marduk was born. Marduk took over the role of Enlil. So the evil Enlil that you read about in the ancient text is really Marduk. The real Enlil is not evil at all. No, he's a very he's a centralized, stabilized, mighty guy. He has more equilibrium, more balanced, and he's more sober and very responsible. He's very responsible man. From the beginning, when they start to talk about Enlil, I saw that he's so responsible, very responsible for sir, whatever he is. He's very responsible. And I would take my hat off him because he's really responsible, because he don't want corruption here. That the seed of the snake does, from the inferior grade to superior grade, they all do this destruction here on earth. If you are still confused, I'm not saying that Yahweh is totally perfect, but compared with his half brother or father, whatever, he's much more, I would say, responsible. It's a shame, it's a shame for his father, because his father, if he's really the father, he's the older one, he's the more perverted one, while Enlil is younger and more matured. That's why I was the youngest in my family, but I think that I was more the level-headed one. So age has nothing to do with maturity, after all. So Enlil that you read about on Shintek is really Marduk. So Enki developed a dark aura ego when he became a jealous god, and that's when Marduk was born. Marduk took over the role of Enlil. So the evil Enlil that you read about in the ancient text is really Marduk. The real Enlil is not evil at all. If you are still confused, I would highly recommend you read the Gnostic texts, specifically the texts that talk about Sabaoth. And I think you'll get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So if I were ever to say a name of a god, so I would say now Sabaoth or Yahweh. No other. So Justin, thank you so much for taking the time to explain all this to me. I've been wrestling with it all for a few days, and you just laid it all out in my way. I can't get my head around. Greatly appreciated. City. The rest, I was I'm trying to figure out where Krishna, Shiva, and Maya Devi fit into this narrative. Maya Devi, Maya could be Sophia, and Shiva, Krishna is the one called the crust. And I don't know whether he could be Yahweh in Leo, or he could be in Kaya, or in Kaya's son. It's so complicated. It has more ground to dig before we reach a conclusion. Kaya is Osiris in Egypt, which would make Marduk Horus. You see? Oh, Marduk is Horus, not in Leo. Mars. Oh, because he take the role of Enlil, so become confused. So the eagle man is Marduk, Horus, because he take over in Leo place title. So how is Marduk only now the ego when it is his son? Would this mean that Osiris and Horus are the same being, or son is replaced by that? I thought that Horus was in Leo. How come it became Marduk now? Yeah, and Kaya is Osiris, and he also is that Anubis. But Horus, from what I knew, it was in Leo, the eagle man. They are all evil. They all use the eyes unto slaves and cannot founder. You will all remain slaves forever as long as you've been worshipping the left and right hand of the same being. Enlil is not Sabaoth. Enlil is Yahweh, the jealous, visionful God. And Ekaya is the trickster known as Loki. Whisper and Usor are so close to truth, but reverted right back to the Archons, as your God is the end. SMDH. Yeah, I think this guy have a point here. That's true. They are all evil. And stupid me, I still sometimes my sentiments get carried away, and I still get trapped. But who knows? We never know. But yeah, maybe this guy here is true. They are all evil. They all use Z as a slave and cannot afford. But again, some say that it was not Enlil who did that, but the family of Enki, Lucifer, Marduk, who did that, impersonate Yahweh, Enlil. But we never know. We never know. And what I wanted to say, yeah, it's all very complicated. No one said anything about worship. I do not worship an external force, nor do I believe that any benevolent external force would expect worship from me. At the end of the day, Enlil, Enkaya, and Yahweh, etc. are all just titles, correct? The connection I made between Enlil and Sabaoth is just from my own personal interpretations of the Gnostics and Sumerian texts on the origin of the word. Clearly states that while Sabaoth is an Archon, having been created by Yaldabaoth, he rebelled against his father and was taken by Sophia to the upper heavens. Oh, who take from the upper heaven, from the cross? Who did that if not Christ, right? Take from his own mother. From what I understand, he is not working against humanity. The dynamic between Sabaoth and Yaldabaoth is very similar to Enkaya and Enlil, in that they are both on opposite ends of each other. Since this is Yaldabaoth, Enkaya's word, it's only natural that he would want people to believe that he is the good guy while Enlil is the evil one. The evil Enlil mentioned in the Sumerian text is actually Marduk, because the texts clearly state that Marduk took over the role of Enlil and assumed all of his attributes, and exactly, inclusive of Horus. And another thing that I wanted to point it out, this Marduk also could be that being there. You know who? In the Vedas, they call it the dragon head and a tail. Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is the head of the dragon, which is now in full force, especially so during eclipses. And they try to control the bounties that the cosmos bring to people, to the creations in all galaxies, all planets, you see, all constellations, etc. He tries to control by giving and take as they please. And I guess that Rahu is the Enki, Lucifer, and Rahu is the sun, okay, the Marduk, and Lucifer would be the Ketu, the tail of the dragon. And together they control here, and they emit this kind of bad negative vibration to the people here, and it gives them what they call punishments to those they don't go along with, like say, okay, people like me or many others who they don't go along, whose seedlings are not from them, and then they get so angry, they say, I'm gonna give a bad configuration for these people right now, and then they emanate and they send forth bad vibration, bad configurations, and bad mantras or negative mantras, and emits all these bad things to the earth to cause this havoc here. You know, this Marduk, the one is the black, ugly, trunk, very fat being. He's the one. He's Rahu, the head of the dragon, and the other one's the father. That's my interpretation. You are certainly entitled to believe otherwise. You may have a different perspective, and that's okay. I certainly don't claim to have all the answers. Okay. The information provided here is wrong. There is a difference between providing facts and writing your own opinions. Yeah, of course. That's true. Seems you just twist it all to your own preference. So your preference what? So you also taking sides. This person also is taking side, and he's been like, he's all over also, you know, he's create different personas of himself, different personalities. Seems you have just twist it all to your own preference. I suggest people read the Elena Danan's book. Oh, like this old lady knows something. Like they know, hey? Many of them doesn't know nothing. They don't speak also their own opinions. It's like you give your own opinions. So you are also pro Enki. That Barbara Mishnak also is the same. She's also pro Enki. As you see, there's a lot of Enki seedlings here, and they come in all shapes and color. To Elena Danan's book called The Seeders. I don't believe in no Elena Danan's here or Barbara Mishnak. Sorry. You tell me that my information is wrong. Is your personal opinion. I would love to hear you elaborate on why I'm wrong. As I can almost guarantee that you cannot prove me wrong. So you can certainly disagree with me and tell me you don't believe what I wrote is true. But to say I provided the wrong information, how? Because of a book you read? Exactly. Very stupid, moronic person. Or because everybody has their opinion, so that's their truth, and this guy also has his own truth. I have my own. But he cannot say that he's wrong and he's right, or that he's right and he's wrong, and he himself is wrong. I don't base my conclusions solely on one person's work, or based on what the history books say. I cross-reference different sources to make my own conclusions. There is no one person or one source that has all of the answers correct. If you choose to believe the narrative that Enki is some cosmic hero who loves humanity and is here to save us all, that is your prerogative. But I'm certainly not interested in it. Good. Bravo. If he truly loved and cared for us, we will not be in the mess that we are today. Simple as that. He would not have allowed us to suffer for thousands of years, lifetime after lifetime. He's nothing but a fraud, God in my eyes. This one is the Luciferians. This one are all Luciferians, the Nagas, Naga serpents. To hell with all of them, and to the Abizu that they may go, that the devil carry them to the Abizu, the netherworld, the Hades with them. All of them who are pro Enki or pro don't know what. It's better be neutral, you know. But don't believe that this Enlil is the bad one, and this one, the Draco there, the serpent who says the good one, to be the good one. No, he isn't. Because as I always said, by the fruit you can judge a tree. And look at the fruit that we are eating right now. Most of those are poisons here. Most of the fruit that we see around are poisonous. You see so many destabilization around, people going crazy, berserk. Many capitalism, all the all-time high, the inflations, huh? Experiment done to people in the name of science, wrong Maya diagnosis on people's body to make experiment on them. You think it's okay? And who's behind that? Who's the master of the United States here? If not your serpent God, hey? Who control all this if not him? So to hell with you and him and whoever worship this serpent, this snake. I will never ever enjoy them. Get here, your masters, enjoy.